What did you watch this weekend?
Well, since we were talking earlier about games that crossed over, I forgot to mention that no one likes to talk about the fighting game that DC actually took part in, which was DC against Mortal Kombat, which was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Mortal Kombat, I watched the film that came out on Friday. Here is the short version. I'm not going to spoil anything in this entire time we talk about it. I might be vague with some things, and there are some like very minor things that'll pop in from like the first 10 minutes of the movie that most people have seen because they literally put the first 5 to 7 minutes of the movie on YouTube. This is the short end of my review. I have never enjoyed a movie so much that pissed me off so much at the same time.
Okay. Interesting review. So give me a breakdown. So let's start off first. Let's start off with, what did you like about the movie?
It is legitimately a gore-tastic, super fun-filled movie. There is, like, the fight scenes are fantastic. Kills look awesome. The gore, like, when, like, Jax... spoiler alert, I guess. Jax loses his arms, I know. It's gruesome as fuck, and it's awesome. And then on top of that, you have some pretty funny stuff. Like, Kano in this movie is super entertaining. Holy shit.
Really good in the highlight of
Kano is amazing. It made me really sad that he ended up being the bad guy that shocking he would turn out to be, because who knew that Kano could be bad?
Yeah, what a shocker.
But like in the time that he wasn't, there was some good jokes in there. Like there's one point, this is not really a spoiler, but there is a point where he's fighting Liu Kang in training. Or I think it's Liu Kang or Kung Lao. I can't remember at this point already. It's been long enough that my memory's slightly fuzzy. And Liu Kang just keeps leg sweeping him. And finally, Kano goes, are you only going to use one move or something to that effect? Like how everybody used to think when we had that one friend that just kept Sub-Zero freezing you and then uppercutting you over and over again?
Yeah, that was my dad button mashing me into a corner when we played as a kid. One thing you mentioned the fight scenes. So what are we looking at in terms of fight scenes? Are they like John Wick level, like really well done and choreographed? Or are we looking at like Taken level, shaking cans, quick cuts, kind of crappy fighting scenes?
No, I think it's a mix of both, honestly.
Okay.
Like, there are some scenes that are like, there's a specific scene with Kung Lao when he fights a character that I won't reveal because there are some surprise characters in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fight that he has with that person.
Batman's a surprise character.
Yes, exactly. So Kung Lao fights Batman, and it's a very fun little battle, but there are also other fights that, like Kung Lao specifically, the guy that they got for him was fantastic, and I don't know if it's the same guy doing his own stunts or just the stuntman for Kung Lao was just amazing. Like, his scenes were great.
Yeah.
Oh, they were good.
Okay. Anything else that stood out about the movie?
Okay, I can do both. Do you want the good standouts or the bad ones?
Let's keep it on the positive. What was the good, and then we'll switch over to the bad.
Okay, I'm gotta think.
Have we covered the good?
I mean, like I said, fight scenes were awesome. Kano's really freaking funny. They've definitely left themselves a good place to go with in terms of like, because apparently they thought like they want to make this a universe, which I'm like, why not? I mean, if it makes money, why not? I mean, they left enough in the first film that I think they could do it, and they got a pretty fantastic actor, and I think it's Hiroyuki Sanada for Scorpion. Like, that's a pretty legendary Japanese actor.
Yeah.
And he did a phenomenal job. Like, Scorpion was fantastic. Sub-Zero's really good. Who else stood out? Okay, I can't spoil this character, but there's one character that's on Shang Tsung's side that you don't see in the trailers who is fucking cool.
Man.
But it is a Mortal Kombat. I think he debuted in 3, if I'm not mistaken. So
is it the Terminator? I remember the Terminator was in Mortal Kombat games.
No.
Does Arnold Schwarzenegger just come out and start ripping shreds?
That would be awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm here for the Mortal Kombat.
But yeah, like most of the characters were at least like either passable or really good. Then we get into the bad.
Okay.
Shang Tsung is very boring, which was disappointing. And the new character they decided to bring in this Cole young fella did not need to be there. And in fact, him being there is a major part of why the movie sucks.
Okay. Why is that? Like bad acting, poorly written?
No, his acting's fine. Acting is perfectly fine. The problem is that for those who have seen or at least like saw the YouTube thumbnail of the original clip that they threw up there, Scorpion and Sub-Zero is the focus at the start of the movie. And it would have been great, because I'm not spoiling anything too much here, because Scorpion, the same origin story he's always had in Mortal Kombat. Sub-Zero kills his family, most of his clan, and ends up killing Scorpion. That's how Scorpion becomes this undead fucking demon thing that he has, because he's trying to get vengeance. That could have been your crux of the story. And it sort of is, but they kind of interweave Cole into it, and it takes away from what was really good in the first 10 minutes. Because Cole kind of ends... You know what happens when a lot of Hollywood movies, like, they take a license, but they try to put their own version of things into it? That's what Cole feels like. Cole feels like them being like, this is our Mortal Kombat, so he's our guy. And it takes away from it. He's not... Like, the performance isn't bad, but they make him the centerpiece, which should never be the case in a movie that has characters that are decades old and people love that much. Liu Kang is almost an afterthought for a bunch of this movie, which is bad. That's really weird, bad. Yeah. And then, like, the power that Cole gets, because the crux of the story is that most of the characters don't just automatically have all the abilities they have. They kind of get them through the trials and tribulations they go through in the movie. Cole's is lame as fuck, and I'm not going to spoil it because I want people who get to see the movie be just as disappointed as I was. But, like, his power is not something you would see as a thing in Mortal Kombat. Like, if that was a guy's power in Mortal Kombat, the video game, you would laugh him to, like, you'd be like, I'm never playing as him. That is the most uncool character I think I've ever seen in Mortal Kombat history. And there are guys like Bo Raicho, who is just Drunken Master in Mortal Kombat games. Like, you got guys that have all these ridiculous weapons, all these ridiculous, like, spectral powers, and what Cole offers is the like, it's Striker mocap levels of basic bitch shit. It's nothing special.
Is his secret power love?
Kind of, actually.
I haven't seen the movie, so I'm just kind of guessing.
Kind of? I mean, technically?
It's basically like Interstellar, where it's like, yeah, love is a quantifiable force.
But,
this
like,
is now the sequel to Interstellar.
Just they focus on him, and it takes away from everything that made Mortal Kombat what it was. And if they had used him instead, because I'll say the one thing, he doesn't die, because why would you kill off your brand new hero in the first movie? It feels like he could have been a good pawn to lose and kind of puts the stakes higher in that movie. But because he ends up being the centerpiece, he takes away from everything else. And that's the disappointment. And it really accentuates that when characters like Raiden and Shang Tsung are fucking horrible. Because everybody remembers the original movie. Those two characters are the fucking standouts. Oh, yeah. Shang Tsung is a badass. And Raiden, Christopher Lambert is just... It's so bad, but it's the good kind of bad.
It's so good, yeah.
It's, like, the good kind of... It's... I don't think so.
Yeah, like, it works perfectly in that movie. If it was in any other movie, you'd be like, what the hell? But in Mortal Kombat, it totally works.
Whereas in this movie, it's really dumb. And then to finish it off, again, without spoiling anything, the entire second half of the movie sucks in terms of story and writing. Fight scenes that are all there are cool, but, like...
Is it enough to carry the movie?
Like, how so?
Like, sorry, is the fight... Are there enough fights and frequent enough that you're like, I don't care, I'm here to watch, basically, fights?
I sat there with my girlfriend, and even though I was enjoying the movie, I was bitching about a lot of the decisions they made. It actually did take me... It didn't take me out because I'm able to... I'm pretty good with multitasking, so I can focus, because I caught a lot of stuff in that movie, especially a lot of the Easter eggs. But, like, there were points in that movie where I'm like, why? Why that? Why now? Like, there were a lot of the things where I'm just like, guys, you're trying to make more than one of these. Maybe make a smart decision here. And they just keep tripping over themselves. I'm like, oh, I want to say only good things about you, but you're making it so hard.
So let's break this down. We're going to break it down in, like, the Mortal Kombat releases. So between Mortal Kombat 2021 and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which one wins?
Oh, 2021 is still miles better.
Okay, Mortal Kombat 1997 or 96 or whatever versus this.
Not even close.
Mortal Kombat 1997 wins?
Yeah, not even close.
Okay.
Because like Mortal Kombat in the original movie does not offend you in any way. It is just stupid ass fun.
Oh yeah.
Mortal Kombat 2021 could have been just stupid ass fun. And they decide, granted, they tried to do something different with the story in this movie, and I applaud them for trying a different concept, but they failed because they spent the concept that they did. And again, I don't want to spoil it, but the concept they tried would have worked if Cole didn't exist. But because Cole existed, too much time got taken away that they had to rush through the entire concept in like 40 minutes. Like, if that movie either eliminates Cole or is like an extra half an hour of screen time, they might have been able to salvage it. But it is so rushed in the second half. That is the biggest complaint I'll have about that movie, is that so much happens in like 20, 30 minutes that it's just, you're like, what? All right, stop for it. Give me a second to breathe on this. And it really doesn't give you a chance to. So... And I've seen people try to make the argument, well, they can't make the movie too long, to which I say, guys, we're all in pandemic lockdown still, most of us. I don't think we're going to be that offended by an extra half an hour at home, you know?
Maybe in 4 years we'll get the Snyder cut of this movie, so.
I mean, shit, if somebody had told me, like back in theaters, like, oh, by the way, Avengers Endgame is going to be 3.5 hours, I'd be like, let's do it, I'm down. If I know I'm going to go in enjoying a movie, I don't care if it's 2 hours. Just make it a good 2 hours.
Yeah. What was the girlfriend's reaction to Mortal Kombat? Is she a fan? Like,
she wasn't as big on the lore, so she enjoyed it for what it was.
Okay.
If you're not deep in the lore like I can be, because I've played like basically every Mortal Kombat game ever, and it's got a pretty good place in my heart from nostalgia factor. Yeah. It's just most of what I don't like about it is just the story decisions that they made. If they just completely bypass story and just like if I'm just talking about like the action, the fights and all that, it's fun. Like, it's a lot of fun to watch. But like I said at the very beginning, I've never had so much fun but have been so angry at the same time. Like, if I take if I take the casual like movie watcher mindset, it's a fucking fun movie. But the second I put a critical eye to it, there are so many mistakes that I can point out.
So would you recommend this movie?
To anyone? Yeah, I probably. If action movies are your thing, I'd still recommend it. Okay. But I mean, if you're a fan of the lore, you're going to be pissed off a little bit.
Okay. So, like, if you have a basic knowledge of Mortal Kombat, you'd probably get it. If you're a huge fan of the series, maybe you'll be disappointed.
Even if you don't know anything about Mortal Kombat, you can walk in and get like a pretty decent fun with it. Like, if you're just looking for a fun action movie that has, quite honestly, some pretty cool like fatality stuff going on, yeah, why not?
Adam, just on the topic of Mortal Kombat, because I don't think we've ever discussed this, who is your go-to? Who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
Scorpion.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was gonna say like
Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and then if I was going like off the board, I'd probably pull out. Ooh, I'm trying to think of like a smaller character that's like one that, you know what, I like the for Mortal Kombat X, I really like Devora, the insect queen girl from the newer games.
Yeah, for me, I'm very basic, so for me it's Scorpion. Scorpion for me is the coolest one there. Sub-Zero is also cool, but I feel like Scorpion's of the two is the better one. If I'm going from like B-list, I think Baraka's kind of cool. Baraka is kind of cool with the swords, and Cabal's kind of neat as well. So
yeah,
but like I said, I'm pretty basic, so I go with Scorpion. So
because I mean, there's a lot out there. Like, Raiden was always pretty fun to play. Liu Kang, you just like playing because of the bicycle kick, because he made the stupidest fucking sound whenever he did it.
Johnny Cage was so fun to play.
Well, you just like nut punching. Of course, it's great.
Pretty much. Nightwolf was cool if you knew how to actually use him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, Noob Saibot was always fun when you just like really wanted to screw with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the new characters I've kind of got into, I did like Aaron Black because I just felt like I was like just playing McCree from Overwatch in Mortal Kombat form. It was pretty funny. Every time he pulls out his gun, all my brain goes, "It's high noon."
Awesome.
But like apart from that, like the only other one I could think of is like Cabal.
Yeah, Cabal was pretty cool. Like I said, he's one of my go-tos that I really like playing as. But yeah. Awesome. Well, I was kind of tempted to check out the movie, and at first when you were bringing it up, I'm like, I don't know about this, but now that you've kind of talked about it, it seems like it's worth checking out, and maybe I'll watch it this weekend.
It is worth checking it out. Like I said, though, there's just, from a critical aspect, like if you're actually looking for like holes to poke at, you'll find them. There's quite a few. But like even by the end of it, the first thing I said to my girlfriend was like, I had so much fun watching this, but why did it have to piss me off with some of those decisions?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a popcorn movie where you just like you turn your brain off and just watch the lights go on the TV.
Like without I'm gonna be as vague as possible. They make a few characters look way too fucking weak in that movie. Like some characters that like you watch and be like, this person was like fucking badass. Why did you ruin this guy? Like stuff like that, or just their overall concept, like cool concept, and would have been amazing if they gave it time, but because they had to rush through it, it just kind of came off as like I feel like this was almost a like pilot. Like in some ways it feels like a pilot story, you know?
Yeah.
Like a proof of concept.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, if the next movie is like a true like balls to the wall like tournament, like the world's in like everything's on the line and everybody's going at it, I'm down. Like if they keep the same like choreography and grab like the CGI is really good in the movie, like if they keep all that and then they just go balls to the wall for the second movie, I'm down to see what that looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping there's a second one. Like I said, I'm eager to see the first one. So.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm giving it like a critical star rating, it's a 2.5 at best. Like it's average. Like if you take critical eye, 2.5 out of 5. Yeah,
perfect. Because that's way better than 2 out of 10.
In terms of fun, it's like a 4. Like I had a blast, but like fun and critique is completely different things.
For sure. All right, I think we'll leave it there, Adam. I feel like we've covered everything we need to cover. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
Mortal Kombat!
All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you around next week. If you are one of our long times, thank you so much for sticking around. We really appreciate your support. If you like what you've listened to, share it with your friends, rate us, leave us feedback on wherever you're getting this podcast or video. We are on basically all major platforms now, so please leave us a review, tell your friends, share it with your friends and family, hit that like, all that good stuff. If you want to email us questions, you can email us at pixelplaypodcast@gmail.com. We are on Pixel Playcast both on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, thank you so much for sticking around, and we hope to hear from you guys soon. Bye for now.